Boys and girls, I kind of like to think of the northern lights or the movement of the sky being almost like a ribbon that's just kind of traveling through the sky. This one almost looking like it's just going from left to right. Other times I like to think of the ribbon as being almost like it's curved, like this one, like it's coming down through the sun and then back up. Other times you can think of a ribbon where it's actually curling over itself, like this is kind of coming down and curling to the right, or this one's actually like doing sort of a loop-de-loop into the sun. I also like to think of it as two ribbons, where here he has a yellowish ribbon and a pink one. Here he has three ribbons that are just in the sky going around. And this, man, that's amazing. That's like a pinwheel. So when you sit down, we're actually going to work together, or you can go on your own. You're going to start with your ribbon, and it's actually first going to look like a line. For it to be a ribbon, you have to add a second line, and you can have the line be at the same distance, or you can start to go further, close, further. Here I'm adding a second ribbon, and I'm coming behind the one from before, and I've decided that I'm going to do one that's curling almost like a C. And now I'm adding the second line, because in order for it to be a ribbon, you always need two lines, not just one. If you accidentally go crisscross over your other ones, no worries, you can erase it later. Here I am just looking at some of his artwork, and I'm coming up with some different ways that you might choose to draw your ribbons. So here I have two kind of almost like an X over each other. Here I have one just going from side to side. This one's going diagonally and then kind of coming the other way, almost like mountains. And this one's coming around almost like a loop-de-loop, almost like Saturn's rings almost. And then finally just a gentle one going across the canvas, but maybe I would almost make it like ribbons that are stacked on top of each other. Now this is what I chose to do on my large piece of paper. This is something you would do as well. And once you've done that, you're going to choose your first ribbon. So I'm choosing my first ribbon to be this one, and I've decided that I'm going to do it in the blues. Now understand that when you go to paint that ribbon, we're going to be doing it in a value scale, which means we'll be starting from the darkest blue and working our way down lighter, lighter, lighter. Just like you see here, he has a ribbon going from dark blue to lighter to lighter. So to remind myself of that, I'm going to take, here I have a blue colored pencil. I'll probably be giving you a crayon or an oil pastel. And when I paint, I'm going to try and stay in those grooves there. If I go out, it's not the end of the world. But I'm starting with the straight color blue, and I'm going to try and be as careful as possible to stay within my lines. Again, if you go outside, no big deal. And then the next part of that ribbon, I'm going to be choosing the next lighter blue. Some of you will need to mix these themselves. Others of you will probably come upon someone who's already mixed it for you. It just will depend on the color and what you're looking for, depending on if you are going to be tinting, meaning that you're going to be adding white, or if it will have already been tinted for you. Here for myself, I added some more white because I was mixing my own. And so now I have an even more tinted white color blue. And eventually I'm going to have even more white into my little blue combination so that I can have a super, super light blue. Now you'll notice that I'm working around that sun. If you choose to either not include a sun or a moon, or just to not even deal with it right now, that's fine. But if you do want to have a sun, you may want to notice later how I'm going to fill that in. Now with this second ribbon, I've decided that I'm going to use pink. So I may have to go over to the pink table, the pink and red table, to do that. And again, now I'm going to use my crayon to do in the value scale there to help just keep me organized in my ribbon that, again, I'm going to be going from darkest to lightest. So here I go. I'm going to be doing the dark red and then go into the lighter, blah-de-blah, blee-blee-blee. If you find that the paint seems so dry, just dip your brush in the water. It's going to, don't swish, swish, just make it wet. It's almost like you're going from trying to whistle and you just need to like lick your lips a little bit. You're just wetting your brush a little bit so that the paint will flow a little easier. Don't try and grind the bristles of your poor brush into the paper trying to get the paint out. Just dip it straight into the water and wet it a little bit, and it's going to be a lot easier. Now, once you've finished a few ribbons, it could be that you are going to feel within yourself that you're kind of feeling done. If you find that that's the case, you may, after you've finished your 1 or 2 or 3 ribbons, choose to color in the remaining spaces solid colors. Now, remember, you don't need to do anything to about the bottom half of your painting, because that's going to be covered up with mountains and water and icebergs and all kinds of stuff next week. So really, the only thing you need to worry about is the upper half of your paper today, and that's what you're going to make sure that you're getting colored in. Now notice here I've colored in my sun, but I can't stand it that I can see those lines. However, if we look at Harrison's artwork, you'll notice that a lot of times he would actually use different color yellows and oranges to color in his sun to kind of have the same motion as the ribbon behind it. So you can play around with that as well.